JAYAHAYAHAAAAA! Shivarajaya here from vitalcoaching.com. The topic for this video is shadow resonance for couples. So when we hear the word shadow, there is something quite mysterious that happens because we don't really know what it is. So shadows are anything that feels uncomfortable, any friction, anything that you feel in your system that you might not be proud of, negative emotions, negative sensations that come into your field. And so when you are in a relationship, where you are in a coupled experience, or even if you are just lovers with somebody, you know, and you have an access and you have something that's happening with it, which is like this slight friction, you know, the beginning of an argument or something like that. And so what I call this a shadow dive. It means that you start, you know, from spinning in light and in beauty, suddenly you start feeling tense, you start feeling triggered. And in the process of feeling triggered, you start building up some tension in your system. There is some stress building up, some friction, maybe a fight. And what's really interesting is that couples who are able to dive into a shadow space, into these shadow states where friction builds up, and empower themselves in the process, will be more powerful than couples, partners who are only able to live and exchange in the light, in light vibration, in frequencies. So imagine that you have the polarization of light and the polarization of shadow or darkness, right? And you, as a couple, as an entity, you are only able to navigate that energy reality. Well, you're going to miss up on all that stuff. And so when you are having sex, when you're engaging and you're only engaging the light, you know, that's where you're going to be connecting. And that's already beautiful. But what if that lovemaking involves the light vibration, but it involves also the shadow vibration? So you bring all that together, and what this does to your connection means that it expands your energetic or emotional potential, the emotional potential of your relationship or your couple, of the dynamics. So it's like the lines of connection that you're interacting with between the two of you become this vast diversity, this vast spectrum. And you have a range of emotional potential that becomes much vaster because you went and explored some of your shadows together, or all of your shadows. So this is what I call shadow resonance. It means that you can literally create energetic resonance and stay connected as partners while you dive into the shadows. So this might mean being in intensity. You know, you might be fighting with each other. You might have this big argument. But instead of being enslaved by those emotions, instead of victimizing and collapsing as a couple, as a unit, as two partners, you stay in your dignity, you stay in your power, and you go like, wow, it looks like we are fighting right now. And we are embracing this moment together. We are not going to run away from that experience. We don't have to be nice to each other all the time. Sometimes we can raise intensity and be in that space where there is friction, there is aggressive energy, there is frustration inside of me right now. And so we can, as two partners, engage into these shadow waves or shadow resonance and actually win by staying connected and by staying awake in the core of that challenge. And so if you have been mastering the lights and you know how to be in harmony, you know how to be romantic with each other, and then you have this other tool, which is your power to engage into shadows without negating them, without neglecting them. You go like, you know, there is intensity right there. Right now, let's go and engage, let's go and play with those emotions, let's play with these energies and see what happens. And so if you have the courage to do that, as partners, you really do a shadow dive and you create this energetic field of resonance and you stay connected and you create the shadow resonance field, then the potential for your relationship is going to be much, much vaster. Again, you engage into the love making. You're not engaging just the light, you're engaging the shadows as well. All that, you have a full vision about who your partner really is. You know their beauty, you know how well they treat you, know how much they love you, and then you know that a part of themselves is this more dangerous part, this dragon that can come from within, and then you embrace that as well. Then you bring that into the core of your relationship. You allow the manifestation of those shadows to be part of your coupling experience rather than negating them, rather than pushing them away. And so magic kicks in when you do that, because suddenly there is an energetic field, there is a field of literally energetic resonance. There is even something that I call FIGHTGASMS, or SHADOWGASMS, which are moments where the friction or the moment of intensity turns into this access of bliss, and then right in the core of that shadow expression, you are going to rise straight into the light, into bliss, into pure, pure love. So if you're in a relationship or you have been in the past and you experience anything like that, moments or access to intense bliss through friction, through conflict, through a shadow dive, let me know what your experience was. And if you recognize it, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. If you are used to being in harmony and you're a little bit scared, or the moment there is conflict or dissonance, all you want is to run away because it becomes too intense or too dangerous for the stability of your emotions, then, I just want you to know that over there is an access to creating, strengthening your couple and your relationship. That's all I want to tell you today. I hope that makes sense to you. Stay strong, stay powerful, and I hope that if you are in a relationship, this gives you an extra hint on how to master your coupling experience.